Since its release, the 2002 anime based on the 1999 Shonen Jump manga by Masashi Kishimoto has joined the likes of fellow Shonen Jump legends like Dragon Ball and One Piece to become one of the most beloved and revered anime of all time. Continuing its story with Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, and returning with a 4-episode special to celebrate its recent anniversary, Naruto shows no signs of slowing down. Believe it. Alrighty, we are going to bring up our wonderful guests to the stage, beginning with someone who you might know as Princess Aurora in Ralph Breaks the Internet, Chopper Liaison in Hotel Artemis, Ami Mizuno, aka Sailor Mercury in Sailor Moon, and of course, Sakura Haruno in Naruto. Please welcome Kate Higgins to the stage! Bringing the energy, nice shirt, I love it. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Joining us next, you know them as the voice of Teddy in Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4, Saito in Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex 2045, Henry Wong, Emperor Greymon, and additional characters in Digimon, Digital Monsters, totally different panel, and Gamakichi, and of course, Kakashi Hatake in Naruto. Please welcome Dave Wittenberg to the stage!
Hello.
Hello, hello, and welcome. Thank you for joining us here at Galaxycon.
A pleasure to be here.
Next up, you know them as Wonder Woman in Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, Subdora in Ben 10 Omniverse, Callie Belladonna in Ruby, and of course Temari Nara in Naruto. Please welcome Tara Platt to our stage.
That was a little anticlimactic. Sorry.
Listen, you are bringing the festive atmosphere to our stage, and
That's
I am
right.
feeling it.
I thought it was going to go further. I thought it would be more fun. Sorry.
I'm also loving the choice of character shirts. That is incredible, impeccable. Thank you so
If
much.
I were a better human, I would remember the company that had us wear these, but I forgot the name of the company.
Hashtag not sponsored, hashtag we'll remember it later on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry, X, rebrand. And finally, you know them as Mercury Black in Ruby, Ben Tennyson in Ben 10, Peter Parker and Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man, and of course, Sasuke Uchiha in Naruto. Please welcome Yuri Lowenthal to our stage. Digging the baseball jersey, very, very nice choice.
I'm repping Akatsuki today, it's okay. I'm okay with it. I love this shirt.
No, it's very cool. Alrighty, so let's jump into it. In my introduction, I talked about the long legacy that Naruto has had, not just as a manga, but as a revered anime. With all of you having been involved from very early on in the dub process for this show, I wanted to know, what was the moment where it kind of clicked that there was something special or timeless here, whether it was before you got involved with the project or even during or after your involvement with Naruto? We'll go down the line, starting over here with you, Dave.
Gosh, when was the moment that it clicked? Well, let me think about that moment. It might have not been until my first convention, because I wasn't really in the anime world as a kid or anything. You know, I moved to LA to do music and fell into voiceover. So I didn't really know how huge it was at all. And then the first time I went to a con, I couldn't believe it. I literally was just like, and so I was like, wow, this is like a whole world. And it's a beautiful world. The people are amazing. And the fans are amazing. I mean, it's just an amazing community. So probably the first con, I went, okay, this is big. Now, I didn't know 20 years, how many years has it been? 15?
It's been almost 20.
It's been 20. I didn't know 20 years later I'd still be going to cons. That's pretty incredible. But yeah, I'd say the first con opened my eyes.
I would say probably the time that I was in line literally at a Starbucks and somebody said to me, I recognize your voice from something. And I was like, well, that's cool. Like, are you Kakashi? And I was like, yes? why are you asking? He's like, I just want you to know it's a huge part of my childhood, and you know, my friends and we all love it. Like, can I take a quick picture with you? And I was like, sure. And then they called my coffee order out and they had spelled my name wrong, which was sort of typical. I don't know how you spell Dave wrong, but they put a Y in it. Don't ask me where. And then that was like, okay, cool. So then I remember sitting in the car afterwards and I was like, this show seems to be fairly popular. And then I remember watching it and I was like, now I understand why. This is awesome. Like, your character's great, your character's great, your character's great, my character's fine. But the world is phenomenal. So that's probably the moment for me.
I think for me it was when we were recording and they're sort of, you're aging up these characters. So you're doing the characters when they're younger and they're going through whatever they're going through sort of as teens, the angst that's happening, and then you start to see the characters having these real life moments that actually change and affect them, just like we as humans are all going through, you know, in the last 20 years, our own lives. And that kind of awareness that it was a show that really was committed and dedicated to following the human condition, and that's what excited me. Like, getting to watch Temari go from this like teen with a chip on her shoulder to being this amazingly powerful woman. Now she's a mom. Spoilers, boruto. But like, you know, it's really cool to watch a character do that, because so often as actors we come in, we do a role, and then we go, but you don't get to see the evolution or the life of that character. It's a flash in time, it's a photograph. And in this case, we're like seeing a character evolve, and I thought that was really what sort of hit me.
I just want to say, it struck me how cool it is to have my real life waifu on stage with me, my anime waifu, and my real life anime sensei all on the stage together at the same time. It's freaking me out. But for me, I think the first moment that it became clear was because I knew anime, but I did not know the show Naruto when we were auditioning for it, and so I went online just to check it out. And it was full of, we know you guys are going to be doing the English dub, and if you mess this up, we will straight murder you. Like, just millions of people were just, you know, hanging on. It was clearly already so loved by so many people before we had even started recording. And I was like, oh, maybe this is a thing.
So this is actually wonderful. Tara, you actually touched upon a question I was going to ask y'all as well. You talked about, you know, the journeys from childhood to adulthood that these characters have had. So I wanted to ask all of you, and any of you can take this to start, what have been the most interesting parts of being on these journeys? Tara, you definitely gave us a great starter for that. Feel free to elaborate if you want. Otherwise, anyone can take this one.
Well, I mean, because I was already sort of speaking to that, I mean, Temari goes from being a teen, and she's having all of the issues that a teen might have, trying to establish their personality in the world and who they are and how they want to live their life, and dealing with familial things with her brother and everything that's going on. You know, those are true issues for her, and she has to somehow figure out a way to overcome it so that she can create a life for herself. And I think that's really exciting to get to A, play, because it's fun to dive into juicy work, and B, to see the reflection of all of us, all of humanity and all of us. We all have obstacles we have to overcome and hurdles that we have to deal with. And then to see Temari become her own independent woman, see her date Shikamaru, like you see these life points that sort of happen, and then you look at yourselves as the humans that we are for the last 20 years, and like all the life things that are going, like now we have a kid, we didn't have a kid when we started recording, like things happen, life happens. And so to be able to sort of mirror that and reflect that and see what the characters are doing and what we're doing, and it's not the same journey. I am not Temari, but I can continue to bring my evolution and my growth and my hopefully maturation as a human being to the work that I continue to perform. So she keeps evolving as I keep evolving, and so because you keep bringing new things. Like if you went back to your first job, you would probably do a much better job than you did when you did your first job, no matter how great you are. And so it's the same true as actors. Like we become deeper, richer, more evolved humans as we live our lives, so then you have more to bring to the work. So what you've done the first time when you first do your first job is never going to be what you can do when you've lived a full, rich, deep life?
Yeah, I've never gotten to play a character in my career as long as I've played Sasuke. So it's been really fun to evolve a character over the years. And yeah, Sasuke became a dad on Boruto right about the same time I became a dad in real life. And it's been cool to sort of track that in my, thank you.
Yeah, no, round of applause, please. Don't be shy.
She had nothing to do with it. I just did it all on my own.
Good job.
Just like Sasuke.
Is there a baby summoning jutsu I don't know about?
Totally. That's the summoning jutsu that I have. I summoned a baby. But he's kind of also like a demon, so I guess you're right.
Similar. We love him very much. We love him.
Yeah, it's been exciting. You don't normally get to do that with a character. You have a character of a short arc of whatever the project is, and it's over. So it's been really cool.
What's interesting about because Kakashi basically starts out as an adult and stays as an adult, it's not the same length of maturation, but you can see the difference in him. When he was 11 years old and was in the Anbu and was running around killing people, he was just a maniacal killing machine. Then he sort of got older and grew up and into his responsibilities. And then he's handed these three, I don't know how you want to describe them, loose cannons, I guess? Naruto's all over the place, Sasuke's moody and dark, and Sakura is completely unsure of what she wants to do, or whether she likes Naruto or Sasuke, or neither of them, or both of them, or whatever that's going on. And so the growth arc for Kakashi is more about realizing that he now has greater responsibilities than he's ever had, because he doesn't have children of his own, but these three students are his children. So he will let them do what brothers do. He lets Naruto and Sasuke fight. He lets Sakura do whatever she needs to do, but make sure she has some strong female influences in Lady Tsunade. And so his growth is more about making sure that they feel safe enough to grow into the people they're supposed to be. So it's sort of his parental role evolves to the point where after the pain arc, he sort of feels like, all right, well, it's not that my job is finished, but I've done a pretty good job so far. But I will always be here for you. I will always be able to help you. If you ever need anything, come and talk to me. And so because his responsibilities evolve, he goes from basically being parents to 11-year-olds, to parents to teenagers, to good friends with the adult versions of these people. He gets to see them through their arc, and they soften him in a way, which is kind of nice because it also deepens him. So he gets to experience, Sasuke and Sakura having a child, and Naruto and Hinata?
Yeah.
Yeah, having a child.
I got you, don't worry.
I lost that. Thank you very much. So that's his, because he gets to see all of this through other people's eyes, he gets to be a better person and to have more understanding for what it takes to actually be a human living in the world.
What beautiful answers.
Dave, I think I finally respect you.
Yes. I don't remember a word you said, but I respect you.
22 years? 24,
It's
20
beautiful.
something? Yeah.
In short, I think it's obvious that Sakura, what her issue was. But I found it fascinating how much it sort of mirrored absolutely my own life, because my issue, I would say, was always with men. Always with men. I mean, everybody's searching for something. Mine was always through a relationship, and so is Sakura's. It looks like she's looking for a man, but what is she really looking for? Herself. So, yeah, so I loved how it started off, Sasuke, because that's how I was. And I also had so many male friends, like Naruto, like best friends. And the thing that blew me was one time, like 10 years ago at a con, because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I kept wondering, who is Sasuke going to pick? And I thought, because she'll solve it for me. Like literally, I felt like Sakura is going to solve Kate Higgins' life. and when they said, oh yeah, you wind up with Sasuke, I was like, what? Really? That's what I do? Like, I thought I was going to get it all worked out. And Boruto's getting interesting now because they get a little more into like our relationship, which they sort of skip over, like, how did we get married?
Right.
And why are we together?
It was an accident.
Yeah. But that mirrors my life too. How did all this happen? So yeah, so I loved playing her.
And you prove basically that if you stalk a guy long enough,
I'm still stalking men. I can, if I stalk long enough, I can get them.
But that I don't think it's any kind of spoiler. That arc that we just recorded for Boruto was kind of awesome. It's like, yeah, it's like,
I loved that.
It's like Family Spy Team.
I know.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Kind of great.
Yeah.
But also like Jurassic Park. Anyway, Jurassic World. Anyway.
So she still has no answer, but she did learn to her own strength. She did learn her own strength. So I know a lot of people don't like Sakura because they think she's wah wah. But come on, did you watch the whole series? Did I get strong or what? Thank you.
She became amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Tough mama, literally.
I have been asking people when they come to the table who they would least want to fight, and Sakura is the answer more often than I can possibly tell you.
Really?
Yes.
Don't mess with a strong woman.
There you have it.
Yes. Wonderful.
She learned well from Lady Tsunade.
Yes, I had a great teacher.
So we've been talking about the overall story arc in particular and how it has impacted your acting narrative with these characters. What I wanted to focus on for my second to last question before we open it up to Q&A, were there any particular storylines or story beats that resonated with you? And it doesn't have to be limited to your character. If there are other characters' story beats or story arcs that really spoke to you, love to hear about it. Anyone can take this to start.
I love Rock Lee. I love Rock Lee.
Yes.
I love his, overcoming.
I will not give up.
And he doesn't give up. And I love that.
Specifically to Kakashi, the two things that resonate with me was the time he got to sit down at the fire with his father and get some questions answered. Because up till that point, the only thing he knew about his father was what everyone else had told him. So to get to sit down and actually have that heart-to-heart and have a moment with a man he never knew, and to get answers was really amazing. And then the other one was at the very, spoiler alert, at the very end when the perfect Susanoo happens and he and Obito and Rin all get to make peace, and Obito and Rin go into the afterlife to wherever they're going to go, and he gets to move on without a Sharingan into his next stage in life. That was just amazing for me. Because most people don't get that kind of closure, but to be able to have that weight lifted off of him, so that Obito could finally hear Rin say, I asked him to do it, and then they could move on and have a moment together, that was really beautiful.
Well, I just like that I finally, the battle with all the puppets.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that I finally was like, I can do this. Yeah, so that was a transitional thing for Sakura.
I can't think of something. I mean, what I love about the show is like the way that it plays out. Like there's not a benchmark moment.
Can I add one then? I'll take your time. I'm taking your time. In that final, I mean, it's sort of something, a theme throughout the series, but that Sasuke keeps trying to kill Naruto, and Naruto keeps meeting him with love, and at the end that works. He keeps meeting him with love, and I'm such a huge proponent of the power of love over the ideas of hate or revenge or and fighting, and I just love how powerful a statement that is, you know, at the very end. He's like, why do you keep doing this? He's like, because you're my friend, you know, because I love you. He's like, I've tried to kill you. Why do you, because I love you.
The power of water over stone, basically. Like the hardness versus the...
And my arm got ripped off, and that's fine. But he wouldn't be over, you know, with love, so yeah.
Yeah, you said it better than I was going to say, but I was thinking of Naruto. It's like, there's something about that he just, always stays with love. I mean, that kid's really been through it. But, yeah, I like that.
You always have a choice in any situation. You can choose to go light, you can choose to go dark. You are always going to be better off choosing the path of love and light than you are darkness and death.
Oh. Even Sasuke comes around.
He comes around enough, I'd say.
Does 40% of a turn count as a turn?
Sure.
He's a good enough husband. Good enough father.
Listen, we're talking Sasuke here. Anything over like 1 is still good here.
Good point.
It's an improvement. So my final question before we open it up to Q&A, and I was dying here because Yuri technically beat me to the punch on this one. Sorry. I'm going to ask this one anyway. No.
Or because we've known each other so long, I'm in your head.
Yeah, no, it's that vibe. It is that vibe. And there's a reason I knew we vibed so well, because my general question was going to be, who is your favorite character besides your own, and why is it bushy-browed best boy Rock Lee?
It's Rock Lee.
I swear to God, that was actually my question.
Rock Lee, green like broccoli.
Oh, there you go. Suit green like broccoli.
Right, because he doesn't give up.
That's right.
And I know Naruto doesn't give up, but it's a different, like, Naruto has powers.
Yeah.
And Rock Lee has to just do it on his own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I've always liked Guy Sensei. There's just something about it.
That is actually, that actually was going to be my answer, because I love the fact that, first of all, Kakashi and Guy Sensei have this ridiculous, long-running rivalry that will probably take them both to their grave. I picture them both in wheelchairs at like 175 years old going, I'm going to beat you to the mountain! You know, and then cutlery will appear out of nowhere.
That's how they love each other, too.
That's true.
Like, that's their love.
It is.
I feel awful for saying this because I love Guy Sensei as well. And one of them is already actually technically halfway there, so we just need Kakashi to join him.
That's true.
Oh, poor Guy Sensei.
Poor Guy Sensei. But yeah, I just love his attitude about things. Like, I feel like in the middle of a fight, he would stop to make a joke. He'd be like, what's about to hit you in the face? Me! Continue.
I mean, that's dynamic entry in a nutshell.
Right?
All right. Kate, any other thoughts? Or?
I don't know if I have any other thoughts. Favorite, I don't know. I mean, I do love Naruto for what we've just been discussing, although I think the constant yelling would get on my nerves, but I love the sentiment of Naruto.
Rock and roll. Well, thank you so much for answering these questions. It is now time to answer some of your questions. We have a microphone right over here, so please line up nice and neat. And once again, let us keep the questions specifically to Naruto, including Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. And if you have general anime voice acting questions, we will accept those as well. All right, let's take it away.
Hello.
Yeah, I think so.
You can tilt it up.
You can feel free to adjust it upward.
That's right, you're close.
You guys kind of talked about the character before, so thank you, but I'm wondering, acting how was it keeping these characters for so long, we grow from an acting standpoint, and keeping these characters, they grow versus most animation shows that the same character, same age, the show grows, from an acting standpoint, what's it like to grow as an actor with these characters?
What's it like to grow as an actor, for those who might not be able to hear, what's it like to grow as an actor with these characters over such a amount of time? I don't know that I have anything to compare it with, because I've never gotten to play a character for almost 20 years. So it's truly remarkable, and I'll probably never have that experience again. But, like we've already touched on in a couple of the other questions, it's been great to be able to change with the character, to change the character, and to see the character change over 20 years.
I mean, I guess what it is you can't always be aware of the influence of what's happening in your life on the effects of you. It's almost like, they talk about the experimenter affects the experiment. So you kind of can't have the awareness of everything that's happening to you, but you know that you come to the table with more. Like you just have more breadth and depth to you as the human experience that you are having as the actor. So it's not that you're like, oh, I have more tools in my toolbox, but you naturally just have more things to draw from that you didn't have before.
Honestly, you guys should tell us.
Yeah, what did you think it was different?
That's true. Because the other thing is the way that they write the characters is that there's always like a new, it's sort of variations on a theme, but there's always a moment where you can look at it and go, oh, like old Kakashi would have said this. I think this version of Kakashi would have said that. And they will let you change the lines sometimes in the booth to make it more in the moment accurate, which is the fun part. Because they're three-dimensional characters, which is great. They live, they learn, they love, they laugh, they cry, all that kind of stuff. So you get to explore as much of yourself as you want.
Yeah, and I would say, like, I always thought it was really fun to go back and play young Sakura, or like sometimes they just lift the recording and use it from the earlier episodes and they just reprint it. But sometimes you actually re-record it, and it's fun within the same session to go from an adult Sakura to being the kid again, and you're like, oh, I still remember that part of myself. Like it never leaves you. So that's fun to be able to entertain all aspects within one recording session.
Thank you for an amazing show. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Tara, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, who is your favorite sand sibling besides Temari?
I mean, I think Gata. It's a very twisted relationship, but I think that she learns a lot from him, and I would like to believe that she influences him for the better.
Thank you.
I just want to say first and foremost, my bias is not showing today at all. Did she have forever?
I have those shoes at home too. Yes,
I do have my favorite.
I almost wore them too.
For those of you that can't see, he's got Akatsuki shoes on and an Uchia shirt.
So first I want to say, Kakashi, you know I beat you in every fight. The rest of you are awesome, I just want to say. My question to you all is, if you didn't have the powers that your characters have, what powers would you choose, besides the power of youth?
Fantastic.
We all want to say sexy.
Sexy, no kidding.
We all want to say it. Sakura and Sasuke might be going down that road soon. Not in real life. I just mean, Naruto looks like it's about to open up a whole new world.
That's true. A whole new world.
I would want the power of healing that Sakura has.
Yes.
It's a wonderful power. Yes.
For shadow clone jutsu, I get so much more done.
Yeah.
Infinite Tsukiyomi. I'd love to put some people in Infinite Tsukiyomi.
Yeah, I would say probably the healing powers, just because, it would make things a lot easier. Go through the day, stub your toe, you're like, one moment, done, moving on.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello there. Hi. How do I get started in my voice acting?
That is a great question.
That's a great question. How do I get started on my voice acting?
Yeah. I don't want to pimp out our book, but Yuri and I wrote a book.
You wrote a book?
Called Voiceover Voice Actor, What It's Like Behind the Mic, and it has some really good information. But I will tell you the best thing you can do, and it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, read aloud daily. And you can change up what you're reading. You can read your favorite book or a comic book, you can read a magazine, you could read a billboard, you could read anything, you could read your textbooks. It doesn't matter, but reading aloud every day trains your brain to be able to pull words off the page, life to character, but it's also to get those words off the page and make it sound like we're saying it naturally for the first time. And the only way to do that is to be so facile and quick to be able to pull those words off, make sense of what those words all mean as a whole sentence together, and be able to spit it out as you're reading it. So reading aloud every day is the best thing you can do.
Thank you.
Also, I would say experiment with acting, because it does boil down to the acting at the end of the day, and you want to fall in love with it. Like, here's the thing, you're starting off early, which is great. You have plenty of time to find out if acting is something that you love, and storytelling is something that you love. So even making up, little plays with your friends, or doing, YouTube videos, or writing your own stories and acting them out, even if you play all the characters yourself. Anything that, any types of plays in school, or theater in school, or, just doing projects with your friends. That all, will tell you whether or not this is something that you really, really love. And you have to love it, because there's a long period of time when you're doing it that you're not getting paid. And you need, if it's not making you money, it's got to be for love then, for that time. So you got to love it. So find out if you love it. Read aloud every day. There are plenty of things you can do starting even now.
I would add quickly to just sort of what you were saying, lovely Tara, that yes, allow yourself, especially as a young person, and I wish someone had told me this, allow yourself to feel everything you feel. Everything. Every emotion is allowed and it's here. So obviously it's allowed if you're feeling it. And don't suppress it, because you're going to want to draw on that as an actor. So if you don't have experience with anger because you thought it was bad to feel it and you went, oh, I shouldn't feel this, then you can't play an angry character because you don't know anger. You got to know sadness, you got to know anger, you got to know joy, and that means when you feel it, you are one with that.
Oh.
Every emotion is welcome in life.
And you know what often stops us as actors and just as people? We worry about whether we're good. Am I good enough? Don't worry about that. You're good enough. You worry about, am I the right person to be like, I looked at that person or I heard that voice and my voice doesn't sound anything like that. Your voice is beautiful, and there's so many, especially today in all the different shows and video games, and there's not just cool guy voice, it does everything. There's so many different voices. And the cool thing about your voice is that nobody else can do that. So in a way, there's no competition with anybody else, because nobody can do what you do. So just do what you do. Don't worry about what other people are doing.
And also to top the don't worry about what anybody else is doing, have fun and play, and don't worry about making yourself look silly. Like, most of what we do, if you were to come watch us while we're recording, we look like idiots. We've got silly faces and we're in weird positions and we're doing all sorts of silly stuff.
That's why they don't put mirrors in the booths when we record.
And if you get self-conscious about what you look like or what you think other people are thinking about you, you're not really fully in that moment and feeling all those feelings that you need to be feeling, because you're inhibited by thinking about, oh, they'll think I look silly, or I don't want to embarrass myself. And you close yourself in, and when you close and constrict yourself, you're not open to express. So you can't worry about what other people think. You can't make that the focus. The focus has to be fun and playing. You have to enjoy tapping into all those feelings and bringing the character to life and making the choices and being big and wild and silly.
And you don't have to remember anything of what we just said.
Exactly.
It's okay.
You already got all the things.
We just gave you so much stuff.
As a mom, thank y'all for that.
Thank you, Mom.
Just as a quick heads up, we've got about 10 or so minutes.
Okay, we'll go
fast.
We'll be fast.
Just a heads up for our next folks in the queue. If you want to get your question asked, let's try and keep it pointed,
we will
okay?
do better.
If I may. Lightning round!
Yay! There we go.
Do it.
We won't each of us answer the question.
Right.
All right. What is Kakashi's greatest move in his arsenal, and why is it 10,000 years of death?
First of all, I would say that's probably top 2, 3. I would say the greatest move in his arsenal is no move at all. Because what he is really good at is letting the other person show him what they're about to do, and then beat them with it. So, that'd be my answer.
That's it. But our sons is still 1,000 years of death.
That's true, true.
If you could live in any village in the Naruto universe, which would you pick?
Just like the name of Hidden Leaf.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sound, because I like music.
I'd say sand just because it sounds like the beach.
I always liked Hidden Leaf though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, so like many others, I didn't actually know you guys voiced the characters you guys voiced in Naruto until I started looking at the cast for my favorite video game series, Fire Emblem, for anyone else who also likes Fire Emblem. And I was like blown away that you guys voiced the characters in Code Geass and Naruto and all that. And so my question is, which character from Fire Emblem would you voice aside from the one that you did already?
I don't know.
I can't remember the name of the character I did in Fire
I already
Emblem.
voiced several characters in Fire Emblem.
Lissa, thank you.
Sister.
She's the only character I know in Fire Emblem. I don't play any of the games.
I'm just so suited for Edelgard. I don't know what else I would play.
I mean, I love Marth, but if I had to pick another one, it would probably be Eliwood or Rickon.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my question is, do y'all have a favorite episode or scene that you recorded, and this is different from like your favorite episode or scene?
Well, local hottie.
That was kind of adorable and tracked. I love episode 30 with the grass ninja when Sasuke gets the curse mark. Was always one of my favorites. And then any epic battle with Naruto or any scene with Itachi. Those are always in my top.
I would say the fight against Obito is probably my favorite one, just because of the flashbacks and the music and the emotion involved in it. It's pretty good.
I'm probably just partial to the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, and the Sasuke! Sasuke! I don't know.
When I'm leaving the village and you're trying to stop me.
Oh God.
Brutal.
Oh God.
Oh, I actually
It's so pathetic, but it was so wonderful.
I have a second answer to that. The second bell test, when you guys figured out that the way to get to him is to tell him what's in the book, and he starts freaking out, he's like, "Don't tell me!" And then they're able to get the bells. I love that whole part.
Thank you.
That was good.
So we all know Naruto can be very emotional at times. What are your favorite emotional scenes? Something maybe that got you emotional in the booth or whenever you were watching it?
Like I said, those scenes with Itachi always break my heart. Most of them, like most of those scenes. Yeah, because their relationship's so complicated.
Probably the scene when Kakashi actually gets the Sharingan and Obito gets crushed. Because that's the first time that you actually see humanity and weakness in him. Because he's like, my friend is dead and he gave me his eye, which is awesome. And I will therefore have a part of him with me forever. But there is that moment where you just see him absolutely snap. And now he wants to kill everybody. So that moment was sort of like something we can all relate to, because when something really, really bad happens, you just want to lash out. And he does. But later on he learns not to. So I think that's something that's always resonated with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, first I just want to say thank you guys for voicing my childhood. And for Yuri and Kate, are you guys not tired of screaming Naruto's name all the time now?
Nope.
It's so funny you just said that, because I was just thinking, I was like, I won't answer that question because it's obvious what emotional scenes I liked, except for I do remember the day that I said Naruto 20,000 times yelling. And she's Mary, it's just like, your next line, it's Naruto. With 5 O's at the end. Just Naruto! Yeah, that was emotional.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, my question for you was, who do you think would have won in a fight? Prime Nagato or Itachi? I've always had this with my friends. I say Nagato, they always keep saying Itachi. I want y'all to decipher it.
I'm gonna say Naruto. Yeah, I think Naruto. I think you're right. I think your friends are wrong.
I think you were 100% correct.
Well done.
Because Itachi is insane.
Hey now.
He is.
That's his brother you're talking about.
That's true, but not as crazy as your other brother, Madara.
Good point.
So, I would say Naruto without question, just because I think he would have because he's coming from a place of love, it gives him more power than coming from a place of hate.
Oh, that's
True. And the show's named after him, so come on.
He's talking about somebody else.
I'm gonna say Nagato. Nagato.
Oh my mercy.
Oh, that's a good
Everything.
Itachi then, that changes it.
Itachi.
It does.
Sorry, man. You were like the first place in everyone.
I'm still gonna say Nagato though.
Hi, I'm not a reporter, but which character did y'all hate the most when acting?
Hate?
Which character? Yeah, which character did y'all hate the most?
You mean our own characters that we
No, like other characters from like the show.
Oh, which of the characters on the show do we hate the most?
There's no hate. There's no hate.
There's no hate. I'm gonna say, Shino always creeped me out. Doesn't Shino creep everybody out? I mean, that's also why he's awesome though, so.
It is.
Sai is creepy.
Sai is creepy.
Sai's creepy.
Gaara is creepy. Gaara's creepy. Shikamaru freaks me out because of the shadow possession thing.
Yeah.
Not that I don't like him, I just think I wouldn't want to have to deal with that. You know what I mean? Like losing control of your own body to let somebody else play you like a puppet. Not really on my top 10 list of things to do.
I think I hate Neji because he tries to out-emo me. So does Gaara, and I just don't like that. I don't like the competition.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for making my childhood.
Thank you. We did it. We're doing it.
Final question, here we go.
Okay, so I grew up with you guys, like literally saw the relationship of Sakura and Sasuke and thought that, oh, I hope that they end up together. That was like my biggest thing. So with that, there's like a fan theory that Sakura and Sasuke have more kids. Do you guys actually think if you were in charge of the storyline, would you make them have a bigger family, like Naruto and Hinata have 2 kids?
No, because he's not much help as it is. Sakura and I are pretty much on our own. I don't even know if he's paying any of the bills. Thank you. One kid is enough.
That was a good one, I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely. Well, big round of applause for all of our guests.